Freestyle Friday number 9. Now, before you jump the gun on anything, this is supposed to be like a house party type song like 2004, so sing along when you can. That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my
That's
balls
right.
keep telling
It's UberDanger time. Broadcasting live from the heart of Europe. This is the most badass broadcast in all the known land. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Tommy C, and my point man today is none other than the Danish wonder, UberDanger. Uber, welcome to the program. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Tommy. My name is Jonathan. For all those that want to get a bit personal.
Oh, you want to go? Am I here to make you cry? I'm going to ask you.
I mean, if you can, I would be quite impressed.
Oh, really? That's the thing. But I don't know how I could make you cry, because I got to be honest with you, nobody does YouTube quite like you do, or at least nobody is as open about it as you do. You're signing boobies. I think I saw you sign some dude's pubes. I don't know if I'm going to ask you about that.
Actually, I want to point out in that video, I signed a penis and a pair of balls separately, so it was two separate issues. But
I mean, are you trying to be one with the gay community and try to bring more people into your style of videos?
Well, that's the thing, though, is that, you know, I've never really had the courage to really take a dick up my ass. So I'm really just trying to put the image out there to try and make me seem like more than I actually am.
You party like no other. You're unapologetic about it, and I dig it. And that thumbnail that I saw, I found that really interesting. Are you going to talk about it? I kind of set you up.
I mean, sure. I mean, I won't go through all the specifics. But,
okay, you don't have to.
The thumbnail in particular you're using is actually a meme that my followers started a long time ago from my Comic-Con video. Because they were all like really up in arms about the fact that I apparently had a threesome. But that's the one thing that I've actually like I've never quite been okay with, is that people don't realize that there was someone taking the picture as well. Okay. So it was clearly not a threesome, it was a foursome. Is
that why you're uncomfortable about it? Did you really have a threesome or a foursome, or this wasn't just a goof for
No, we did. At that Comic-Con in particular. I don't do that at every Comic-Con. It's not something that me and my girlfriend were just like, oh, we're just gonna have a foursome, you know? We find some really nice people, and you know, it was a good time. It was nice.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I tried that once and it didn't work out. I got slapped across the face. You are a fucking man's man. You know, I'm so used to dealing with the commentary community that it's really uptight and you know, really uptight, and they're always judging everybody and moralizing everybody. And you come on here, it's like, I had a foursome, bitch. And
I mean, you know, that was actually, I would argue that, you know, my foursome actually, that particular foursome happened in, you know, like my two, I guess, like party years of my youth, if you would call it that. So like, you know, from 18 to 20 years old was probably the two wildest years of my life so far.
Yeah. And you did have to reel it in, and we're going to get into that later. We're going to get into a lot of parts about you, but I really want to start off the beginning, get right into the questions that I actually took the time to wrote. How'd you get into this, and how old were you when you did?
I think kind of by coincidence. Like, my original YouTube videos, I made them, I barely even knew that other people could watch them. I have them unlisted, but there's a bunch of really old, shitty Minecraft and Call of Duty videos where basically I just got a capture card for the Xbox, I remember, because I wanted to, like, you know, be able to record my cool plays and like Black Ops and Call of Duty and shit. And eventually I made some Minecraft too on my computer. But I think it took me like 2 years to get 2,000 subscribers. Oh, wow. So I definitely wasn't like, you know, I wasn't grinding to get big on YouTube in any capacity. Then I went to 9th grade in a school here in Denmark. Well, I switched schools in 9th grade, and all my friends in that class happened to be playing League of Legends. So yeah, I started playing it with them. It seemed like a good time with the boys, you know, getting to know when your friends in class. And yeah, I happened to make, you know, a couple of videos about it. It's actually a funny story. My first ever real League of Legends video, I came home drunk one night and I hadn't smashed. I really wanted to plow some pussy on that given occasion.
I love you.
But I didn't.
No, you didn't.
I didn't. I was a bit frustrated. I was almost blackout drunk. I don't remember much of what happened. I remember going on my computer. And when I woke up, I saw like just a little rendered video file. And I was like, oh, it's interesting. It's called Full AD Darius. So in my drunked out state, I'd taken some random League of Legends footage that I recorded with my Danish friends, dubbed it over in English. And if you watch any of my really early videos, you can see they're like extremely heavily inspired by like other big league YouTubers. You can tell I'm basically just voicing over this stuff as a joke, and it's like it's extremely inspired by other people.
I got you.
But basically, I just woke up, like hungover shit. I was like, oh, this is a video, I guess. And I put it on YouTube. And that was my first thing that got like at least a little chunk of views. It got like maybe like a couple thousand views over like a couple weeks. And, back then for me, that was huge. I was like, whoa, thousands of people saw the thing I made. And there's even like people asking to see more of it. And ever since, I guess I've just had like the philosophy that I'm going to try to make everything better than the previous, listen to people's feedback. And I don't know, just try to have a good time with it.
Is that the point where you got a million you got a million subscribers, which I think you passed that within the last 12 months, if I'm not mistaken. What was there a moment that you became big time, that it was kind of all uphill from there? Was there a particular video or a particular more series of videos? When did UberDanger become sort of the YouTube rock and roll star?
Well, there was one particular video that I think was my first huge video. It's called the Full Revive Bungaloo. And you probably don't play League of Legends, but basically we just took all the champions that when they die, they can revive in some form. And then we bought all the revive items as well. And the idea of the video was basically you can never kill us, right? Yeah. And I made a quick little 2-3 minute montage out of that. And I got really popular. The League of Legends subreddit, they threw it on there, and Riot Games actually posted it on their Facebook page back before Facebook took away the ability to drive a lot of traffic to YouTube videos. And so yeah, that video got huge. It got like 1 million views, and that kind of got it booming a little bit. That was like my first, I guess, big gateway video that drove a lot of traffic to my channel. And I think maybe like a couple months after that, I dropped out of high school. Or in Denmark, we have a different system where it's like you have the first 10 grades, and then you have gymnasium, which essentially equates to the last 3 years of high school. Well, I was in gymnasium, and I realized I didn't want this. I didn't like this. They were teaching me a bunch of stuff, and I wanted to learn maybe 1/10 of it. I didn't think I was going to finish gymnasium. So I actually switched over to culinary school. Where I started working, where I finished my education on culinary school and started working as a chef intern. And while working as a chef intern, which by the way, I can't recommend it unless you truly have a passion for cooking. There's a horrible work environment, and you get treated like shit as an intern. I mean, that's normal in a lot of professions, but I was working one day, and I had a really shit day. They made me peel potatoes and wash the dishes, and I was washing dishes for like 3rd hour straight on like a 12-hour workday, and I realized, just doing the math in my head, I was like, my AdSense revenue, just the ads on my videos, are earning me more money by the hour right now than me washing dishes, right? I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm just like, I can't be fucked to do this every day. I think I have more in me than just washing dishes,
You're so young at that point that even if you do fuck up, you could probably get back into school.
Exactly,
like that.
And I do live in this cucked welfare state, so it's like you can get paid to do education. You can never really be poor. And that's the thing, though. That means you can never really be rich either. Getting back to that, and I switched over to doing YouTube full time after that, and I think that's when I really started booming, because that's when I stopped. When I was working as a chef intern, I could only put time in on the weekends. But when you have 12-hour work days, 5 days a week, you're busted as fuck on Saturday, and you can't really stay up all night editing, making YouTube videos on the weekends if you also want to have time for your friends and gotta get to work Monday. So I didn't really have that much time to work on my videos. Sometimes I would go 2 to 3 months without uploading a video.
Oh, really?
So when I decided to put everything I had into it, that's when I really started booming. I think at my peak, I got like 18 million views a month, which I think is the biggest I've ever been on YouTube. But one thing that kind of pissed me off about that is I actually got big with my lowest effort content, if that makes any sense.
PewDiePie's talked about this, but go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got big with arguably some of the worst content I've ever made. Like when I got really lazy after I basically blew up, and I was like, I've made it. I don't need to work extremely hard.
I
basically just made shorter videos with less effort. I even did, like some stream related stuff on my channel. And basically, like arguably some of my worst content ever got biggest. That's what really got me big because I could post so much of it.
Yeah,
while I was blowing up, and that essentially equated to getting a ton of views. Though I think 18 million views a month is the highest I've ever been, basically.
That's amazing
on YouTube.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
But now I get like 2 to 4 million views a month, and I think I'm making like some of my best content ever.
Yeah.
So looking back on it, I wish that I would have gotten lazy now and made sick content back then, but you know, you can never know.
I went to a stage where I was getting 1,000 subs a day, and I thought this is going to be like this forever. I probably, when it started dropping to about 200-300 a day, which is very respectable for me, especially now, I started to realize that's the young guy's way of looking at things. You got to prepare for the future and stuff like that. So I mean, that's pretty normal. How old were you then? Like 18, 19?
I believe 17 at the time.
17 at the time. So, I mean, that's it. We're going to get into money a little bit later because I wrote that down. I wrote that down too because I talk about money a lot. So you talked about your turning point, League of Legends. I don't know a hell of a lot League of Legends. I'm interested in it from an esports I guess from an esports angle, but you really use the game as creative. You're able to capture sort of just, I mean, I don't think this is an insult. You're kind of like us over here on Shopping the Point. You're kind of bro-ish, and you kind of capture.
I'm not that good at League of Legends, to be honest.
Oh, like, you're not? See, I wouldn't be able to tell if you were.
I just play it to have a good time with it, and I can't be arsed with the competitive side of things. I mean, I've hit Diamond the last couple seasons, which I guess is decent. That puts you in the top whatever percentage of players.
That's still pretty damn good.
But I think the ranked system is really a huge indicator on how much time you spend on the game. And of course, extremely skilled players need to spend less time to get higher. But I don't know. I'm never going to be a professional at the game, and I'm not hugely interested in watching professional players play League either. I just think it's a great medium to actually provide entertainment. I think there's a lot of comedic value in just like playing this game with your friends, and I think there's a lot of potential for a variety of content. I
do. I think what you're able to capture the most, and you're not the only YouTuber that can do this, but you're one of the few YouTubers that can do it correctly or make it seem natural. Doesn't make it seem natural, but you're able to take the great parts of gaming. I'm a lot older than you. I grew up with the joystick and playing Street Fighter on a pad on Super Nintendo, and the moments and the funny shit that happen, you're able to kind of capture that, and you sort of feel like you're hanging out. You're getting loud, you're getting crazy, exactly. And that's what you're able to capture, and it doesn't seem forced at all. That being said, it does sort of make you a professional gamer in a way, but you're a professional gaming entertainer. You might not be in the top of League of Legends, but you're certainly, I'm sure there's some professional League of Legends players that would like to be in your position. Wouldn't you think?
I mean, I'm sure that content creation seems, from the outside, as like a really, should I say, it seems really attractive as a thing to do in life. But I think when it really comes down to it, most people have their professions for a reason. Like, I'm an entertainer with this particular medium because I really like entertaining people, and I have a creative interest in the things I make. And I think if they really wanted to, a lot of professional League players have every opportunity to become a YouTuber. A lot of them, they do streaming on the side for money. But I think when it really comes down to it is that I think a lot of people assume that being a YouTube gaming entertainer is just a free ticket to the good life.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel that I work hard just like everybody else.
Sure
and, I have my struggles as well. Like, it's not like, I make videos about video games and then I'm rich and I don't have to worry about jack shit. Like just today I have about $150 in my bank account because I had to pay a bunch of extra shit to my government.
Yeah.
A bunch of taxes. I actually thought I got rid of all my debt last year, but they found a bunch of ways to see that, in 2015, where you earned a lot of money, you actually didn't have a company. So we looked back on it and saw that a lot of it was personal income tax, not, you didn't have a company back then. And then we added there's some interest rates, and because you didn't pay this over these 2 years, blah, blah, blah. Interest. So there was a bunch of shit. I paid them almost $10,000, which was like all the money I had saved up.
Gotcha. Do you want to get into that? I had that listed at the at the end. Do you want to talk about money? I take a lot of heat for talking about money openly, and I don't make anywhere near that. I consider myself a working class entertainer. Is it you said in one of your videos over the summer when I first became familiar with you that when things started rolling in, you didn't think about money, and if I say this wrong, please correct me. It's because you didn't want to come off like all you cared about was money. And
I think it's less so that I didn't want to come off that way. It's just that I was young and stupid, and I thought that not caring about money meant not being materialistic. I thought
that's
I
essentially what
thought
I'm
if
saying.
money was out of my mind and I
Yeah.
didn't consider it a thing, then I would never become addicted to money. When really what happened was that I didn't understand economy. I didn't understand personal finance. And because of these things, I made a lot of stupid decisions and I was really unwise with my money.
Listen up, young YouTubers, especially my friend I Am Alex, because he's a young guy that's really, he just hit the 100,000 mark and we're friendly in the DMs. Listen, this is, I like, you guys know I like to talk about money. I've been accused of being a money whore and all this other stuff. I don't think when you have an attitude like he did when he was younger, it's actually a more unhealthy attitude to have that. If I don't think about money, means I don't care. It means I'm not materialistic. Than it is to money is like everything else in your life. You got to clean your house. You got to keep your skills sharp. You go to school so you can get a skill so you can take care of your family, take care of this, that, and the other thing.
You know, Tommy, sorry to cut you off. That's one thing I wish they taught me in school was personal finance.
Why would they? Exactly.
You know, personal finance, any fucking kid could use that in the world.
I absolutely agree. And they've moved it away from American schools as well. And I absolutely think it's really important that I think a lot of people hear this, is there's nothing wrong with making money. If it's absolutely everything and all you think about, despite your family, despite your friends, all right, you got a problem. You're an asshole. But there's a lot of them going around. But there's nothing wrong with being open and talking about money. I tell you something, I hear this from young YouTubers all the time, and sort of this dismissive attitude when it comes to money, because I think they don't want to be seen as people that only care about money. They want their art or what their content to speak for them. And I think there's also the part that you just mentioned, if I don't think about it, it won't be there. That's an insane way to think. And Uber is a really, you say you only get 2 million hits a month. I'd kill for 2 million hits a month. That's still excellent. Your stuff at least gets 100,000. I mean, some of your stuff gets anywhere from 500,000. You've had 1 million hit videos as early as November, just this past November. So, kids, listen up real close. There's nothing wrong with being and knowing and understanding and learning how to take care of yourself. Money is a skill. Learning money is a skill, and Uber is 100% right. They don't teach it. I am in not a similar situation than you, but when I was in my 20s, all I was doing was partying, and I never really expected to have anything than just a fucking tech job, But I could have saved a lot of that money. I could have maybe 50, 60 grand in the bank if I played my cards right. But I think it's really important that you made. And one of the things I really liked what you did is you owned it in your video. This was my fuck up. This wasn't society's fault. This wasn't mom and dad's fault. You owned it, and I really appreciate that. It's good shit.
No, but that's a huge thing about that part of my life, is that I actually wish that I would have learned about money and then earned a lot of money. Like, I had 1 year, 2015 was the year where I earned a shit ton of money. The next couple of years, I didn't even. Okay, so in 2016 and 2017 together, I won't earn as much as I did in 2015, right? Problem is, I didn't know what the fuck money was back then.
Yeah.
I thought I had to pay 37% off taxes off all the money, then I was done. Turns out I didn't have a company, so my corporate income tax wasn't really the same, and I was in a different tax bracket. By the end of the year, actually, I owed my government $20,000, which, I didn't think that was going to be a problem because I just spent money, But turns out when you're not as big on YouTube as you used to be, and you're not just earning $20,000, $20,000 is a huge debt. Because earning $20,000 doesn't mean you pay off your debt. Then you have to pay taxes off those $20,000, and then you've pretty much halved your debt, right? And I was actually in a position where, also a video you mentioned, that's probably the worst I've ever been off in life, was when my mom got diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia, which, by the way, I just want to point out, was a misdiagnosis. We found out months later.
Can you tell me what that diagnosis is? Because I didn't understand.
So trigeminal neuralgia is one of, if not the most painful neurological disorders in the world, and it has absolutely no treatment. There's no treatment that can effectively treat trigeminal neuralgia. You can only find halfway solutions for the pain, and it's a really scary thing to get diagnosed with as a 50-year-old lady. So my mother was getting diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia. She had extreme pain in her head, which was actually attributed to one of her teeth and that's why they misdiagnosed it as
Oh my god.
trigeminal neuralgia, right?
Yeah.
But she was misdiagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia, and they gave her this medication for it. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Carbamazepine, and that made her much sicker because she had to take those meds, which then lowered her blood vessels or whatever the fuck in her brain, and that just it really messed her up, right? So my mom was feeling like shit for this period. I was feeling like shit because of that, and I felt that I wasn't even able to be there for my mom because I had to wake up every single day and work on YouTube if I wanted any chance of getting out of my debt, if I wanted any chance of financially supporting myself, my family, and my future. So I was in this extremely stressful work environment where I had a stress routine of just waking up, working till I pass out, and repeating, right? And I'd actually had this for most of 2016, which is what fucking killed me. It actually, I also think it actually made my content even less genuine, because when you're stressed and unhappy, it comes across and you can't seem entertaining in the same way.
Yeah, I got you.
So me being stressed, me feeling like shit because of what was happening to my mother, and me being in the worst depth of my life, not even knowing if I was going to get out of it, I basically just broke down and I had to be honest with my audience. Like, hey, I feel like shit for asking for money. I didn't think I was ever going to have to ask for money from my audience.
Yeah.
I actually, when I started out, I didn't even think I would ever have to do a sponsorship. But so yeah, this is the situation. I'm in this much fucking tax debt. I have absolutely no fucking clue how I'm going to get out of this in life. It's not anybody else's fault that I'm in tax debt.
Sure.
I was fucking 17, 18 years old and I earned a shit ton of money. I didn't know what to do with it. I was just pretty irresponsible, but now I'm in the worst position I've ever been in life. I want to support my family, and I'm just going to lay the cards out like they are. I have absolutely nothing against taking responsibility for my own actions, getting a different job, working hard, and actually doing what's necessary to support my family and actually be present in my life. But I know a lot of you support me and love the entertainment I make on YouTube, and if you want me to be able to continue to do that as my full-time job, I need you to help me get out of my tax debt. Basically, I need that.
I get the same thing. Like, why do you put four ads in a podcast? First of all, it's 50 minutes worth of content. Second of all, that's what it has to do in order for me to continue to do this. That's the bottom line. It's sometimes difficult, especially for young people, to understand that for the reasons we talked about before. They don't teach this stuff in school. Essentially, they're not teaching people to take care of themselves. By the way, I just want to say, I watched that video. It was interesting. You DM'd me, or you followed me. I was like, oh my god, there's fucking, this guy with the blue check mark. I didn't know much about your content. This guy in the blue check mark
is that a thing people look out for Twitter? They see a blue check mark. Like,
yeah, it was like, well, I knew you were. I knew you were friendly with Keem. So I mean, at the time,
blue check mark is the power in the wrong hands when it comes to me.
Well, I knew you were friendly with Keem. I did know you were, because Keem had mentioned you in a conversation or two, and
Yes, actually, that's another thing. Is like Keemstar was one of the only people that
reached out
that actually wanted to stand up for me back when I was under a lot of negative backlash. Basically, I once got accused of being a pedophile, and I had a mental breakdown like on camera.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was like also another pretty stressful period of my life. And basically, like him and Richard Lewis were the only people that were like accurately reporting on the fact that like I'd never slept with anyone underage, and a lot of the shit being thrown at me was basically just very harsh defamation. And I don't know, Keem actually helped me out of that situation pretty well.
I mean, look, I can't, me and Keem have had problems lately, but I can't deny that he's done wonderful things for me too. And I'm glad he helped you out. Keem does help people out on the DL. I mean, I can confirm that does happen from time to time. It's very difficult for me because of the situation debated to be unbiased. I'll be perfectly honest with you, biased, but I'm really glad he helped you out with that. I did want to say something about that video. So I check your blue check mark, I follow you back, and I check out this video, and I have an Army background. When I hear people complaining about their lives, it just fucking enrages me. But the weird thing was, when I watched your video, I didn't feel that way because you owned it. And I remember you put the Patreon in the middle of it. He goes, this is my situation. This is what I got. These are the mistakes I made. And by the way, I don't think that's begging for money. I think it's what you have to do to survive. And as far as if you want the content, this needs to happen. If you don't, then I will go out and I will get a normal job like everybody else. It's not the end of the fucking world, but if you want,
that's the thing though. I was ready to do that. Like I had my chef career to fall back on. I can build computers, so I could definitely get a job building computers. I think that's decently lucrative in Denmark. Sure. I could actually work with an advertisement as well. Like there's There's plenty of jobs I could get. I've worked minimum wage shitty jobs before, and I actually think, having been a YouTuber for a long time, it would have been actually pretty nice to have a set time where I work and then be off work the rest of the time. Like, this is the thing, a lot of people that don't have their own companies and don't run their own shit and aren't their own boss don't realize is that we don't have time off, really.
No.
Like, I work every day. And when I don't work, it's because I'm specifically pushing work into the future.
Gotcha.
Like, I think it's decently stressful being a YouTuber, at least if you want to work hard and try to make your best content, right? So for me, it wasn't even like, oh, it's going to be shit if people can't help me out of my debt. I thought, you know what, maybe this is the new path for me in life. You know, maybe doing this might be kind of good for me, even though I can't entertain people the same way I used to. Maybe I'm going to have a lot less stress. Maybe I'll be a bit more grounded and, you know, fucking get in touch with reality a bit.
It seems like your fans and your content has been pretty stable since that point, too. I mean, what kind of feeling is that? I mean, your fans really came through for you. That's got to be overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fucking incredible. One thing that's definitely been cemented over the last year and a half of my life is how fucking loyal my followers actually are. Like, when I really think about it, I think about all the shit I've done over like the last couple of years, and my fans still watch my shit like to a great extent, and I have an incredible engagement from them. I think that's fucking crazy. Like, for example, my last video got age restricted almost immediately as I put it up, right?
Yeah.
And it's sitting around 300,000 views right now after like 4 days. That means that in the last 4 days, 300,000 people logged into an account that's over 18 years old to watch my video. I don't know who the fuck else makes videos
amazing.
and has that many people log in to watch it, right?
That's really good.
And that I think the age restriction thing, we're gonna get to that, but I think that system is broken in the first place.
Sure. I think it's a
because
weapon.
For two reasons. It
Yeah.
doesn't stop children from watching videos because over half of 18 plus accounts are children anyways. What it really does is that over 90% of YouTube views aren't from logged in accounts. So what it really does is it takes a piece of content and says this won't really get any more views. This won't get big at all anymore. And I also think it's easy to abuse it. If a large group of people decide to collectively report something, the automatic system is going to pretty much age restrict it.
That's right. And, you know, I think it's used as a weapon as well. And also, you know, UberDanger does, he does League of Legends. And, like, well, how could he be getting age restricted? Uber is not afraid to, I'll mix it up, my personal favorite being, of course, the Jaeger bomber, which is, did that video get age restricted by any chance?
No, that's still not age restricted. That's some good shit, though. I think one thing I think about the video is that I think it actually shows a lot of empathy and how good of a time we're having. And I think it's one of the reasons it didn't get age restricted is it's actually just a bunch of people just having a good laugh together.
Yeah.
But I think that video is actually a great example of the ideology and philosophy behind what I do is that I don't like to make fun of ethnic groups specifically. I like to make fun of extremists.
Yeah.
Like, when I make that video and I dress up, I'm not saying Arabs are terrorists. I'm not saying Middle Eastern people blow stuff up. I'm saying Islamic extremists
blow stuff up.
Are cunts.
Yeah,
and therefore it's okay to make fun of them because they're cunts, right?
It's so funny with the PewDiePie situation. You know, you have a situation where PewDiePie is being called a fascist, and he's essentially making fun of fascism. Right, yeah. And then you have all these social justice types criticizing him for it. Thank you very much for the donation. You have all these people, social justice warriors criticizing him for it. And, like, I think to myself, since when is fascism or Islamic extremism, in this case, so sacred that we can't make fun of it? I mean, can't make fun of it. And I want to play a video. I got it queued right now. I want to play a video, and you make a pretty good point. And I think we're going to get into this topic right now. Here it is.
This really pisses me off. It's been proven to be true over the last year of my life, is that whenever I make a video about like Jewish people, black people, Hispanics, Christian people, Hindu people, Asian people, doesn't matter. The video stays up. People don't really mind. Very few dislikes. And generally, the videos do pretty well. But whenever I make a video where I satirize Islam or like Middle Eastern people, it just gets spammed with dislikes and it gets reported like crazy by a lot of people. And it's just weird to me because I feel like almost at this stage, I almost feel like I have to avoid making fun of one specific ethnic group to even be able to be successful. And it's really weird for me because like I feel that is the ultimate form of racism, is you can make fun of everybody, but not these people. I don't know. I feel like, you know, it's just comedy and I'm just trying to make a goof on my channel, so it kind of pisses me off that I feel very restricted in that, like, every time I want to make fun of, or every time I want to make comedy about these people, I can't.
And I like the fact that this one group of people are somehow are protected, and everybody else seems to be fair game. That does seem to be a little bigoted, or at least what do they like to not white nationalists? What do they call them? Supremacists. It does seem almost supremacist like that. This is a one group that is holding it now.
And I think there's like a misunderstanding, a cultural misunderstanding, because if a Muslim sees my video and reports it because they think it's an attack against Muslims or Islam in general, then they're actually going against their own ideology. If you are a good faith Muslim who practices Islam, then you are absolutely against ISIS and Islamic State extremism, right? Of
course.
I actually genuinely believe that regular Islam practitioners, or genuine Islam practitioners in Europe or America, whatever, traditional Islam has a lot of humanitarian values and teachings in their ideology. And I think that all of these people should agree that what's going on in the Middle East is insane to some extent.
Sure.
And that it's okay to satirize some of the worst scum on earth. It's the same thing. I mean, we get to make fun of North Korea because it's literally a dictatorship.
Sure.
I get to make fun of Israel because they killed a bunch of Palestinians and took their country. I get to make fun of America because fucking it's America.
No, but you make a fantastic point. Nobody's off limits. I think the line is crossed when it's hate, but I really don't think the Jaeger bomber is hateful. And it's like, oh, that's hateful, that's terrible. You have a bunch of Red Bulls attached to an old motherboard. I mean, come on, that's I mean,
with wires.
Yeah, with wires. It's hysterical, and of course, certainly some kind of comedy is going to offend someone. I'm sure somebody's going to get offended over it. But I think that's I do disagree with you on this. I think our Western values do clash with Islam a little bit. I don't know if it's always compatible, but at the same time, you know. Most Muslims come to Europe and go to the United States and just want to do what we want to do. Like, we want to earn money and make a life for ourselves and our family. But it does concern me sometimes when you don't have enough, and I wouldn't say there's nobody, people from the Middle East, from that religion, that don't speak out against against terrorism. And the best weapon, in my opinion, is what you do. You satire. Let's go on.
That's also my general philosophy, is that I think comedy is pretty sacred. I think nothing is too sacred for comedy. I think nothing is above comedy. It's to some extent. Of course, you know, like, some shit is just hurtful. Like, you know, right after a school shooting, probably not the right time to make a tweet about those people getting killed, right?
Sure.
But I think it's been long enough since World War II that we can satirize World War II and stuff like that, right?
I would think.
I think that's across the board. I genuinely do believe what I said in that video, that I think it's a really high form of racism if we get to criticize everybody except X group of people. I don't think that's just true for Muslims. I think that's true for what if I can make fun of everybody, but not Hindus, right? Hindus are above being made fun of.
Sure.
I think that's racist towards everybody except Hindus.
Yeah, I know.
But if I get to make fun of everybody, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think as long as I wouldn't go as far to say that, like, Muslims couldn't criticize the Jaeger bomber, but when we get into censorship, yeah, I mean, they have a right to feel it's bigoted. But
I think that's a gray area of YouTube where if enough people report it, it goes into that system where it's like, if we don't like your thing and enough of us decide to collectively report your thing, it's not going to get big and you're not going to get big. And I think that's a huge thing for me, is that, like, I know, for example, in my last video, I know if I'd left all the Islam-related montage stuff and jokes out of there and just, like, focused on my last video, it's called The Earth Adventures. It's basically my take on a deconstruction of racism and kind of a mockery of racism in general. I also read out some, like, comments on my video. The last one being a guy asking me if I think white people are the master race, and I go off on a tangent where I basically explain that I don't think there is a master race because all the races suck, and I make fun of every race for a bunch of different stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, I know if I left Islam and Islamic extremism out of that video and not made fun of them, that video probably wouldn't have gotten age restricted. I've done this long enough to understand. The video I made prior to that, The Adventures of Full AD Camille, if you look through both videos, that has some way worse shit in it. You know what? That video is downright fucking racist towards Chinese people. But you know what? That video is not age restricted.
No,
that
it is. It is.
Views.
And I think you're pointing out there's a supremacy around Islam. I think you're 100% right. And you mentioned before, like, you know, I mean, you have money issues. You've been open about that. And I think, you know, I've got to earn a certain amount of money a month. And a lot of it depends on titling and what you put or what you're putting out there. If I'm going to do something and I think it's going to get age restricted, I may not make it. I may not cover that topic. And that is, God, I don't know if that is a form of if that isn't a form of censorship. If a group of people gets together and we're going to tag these videos that we deem to be unfit, it is a broken system. It's freaking terrible. Did you follow the PewDiePie story?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing's like, ever since PewDiePie started making like more edgy videos and stop his gameplay stuff, or at least moved away from it a bit, I've been totally in love with this channel. I love his shit.
I'm the same way. He was always the kid's guy. I hate his name, and I know because I call him PewDiePie, and I know it's PewDiePie, and I get a lot of shit.
I think you're going for PewDiePie.
I can't. I can't say it. It sounds too fucking childish. I still say Pokemon instead of Pokemon. You know, Pokemon, PewDiePie, whatever his name is.
You guys have the worst pronunciation of stuff in the U.S.
It's
I just want to point this out. Anyone ever wants,
there's 300 million people. How can you say us?
Children. If you're ever gonna rape a child, do it in England and not America.
Oh, why?
In America, you're a what are you? You're a pedophile, right?
That's right.
In England, you're a pedophile. Like,
yeah, it sounds nicer.
You're gonna go to prison, right? You're gonna go to prison. There's fucking 19 buff black dudes jacked as fuck ready to fuck you up. Are you gonna tell them I'm a pedophile? You get fucked up. But you're in prison and you're like, excuse me, my sir, I'm a pedophile.
Yeah,
you know, it's a little bit better.
I don't know. Hanging around Colossal is crazy.
Oh no, someone's gonna take that clip of me way out of context.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Good luck. I only work here. I'm just asking the questions. No, that's a really good point. As usual, whenever I write the questions down, because I get to stuff earlier and then it throws off my whole thing. And actually, I think we're getting to the end, and I want to get to the fan part. Last thing on PewDiePie, do you think that we won, or did the Wall Street Journal and the mainstream media won that battle? In your opinion?
Okay, so one, I think PewDiePie took a hit to his image. First of all,
okay, well, that's definitely a.
Not as an anti-Semite, but in general, his brand was worsened a bit, both by him getting dropped by Maker,
sure,
and by having this much attention in the media,
sure.
But I think in general, when you talk in new media versus old media, and I definitely think it's a landslide victory for YouTube, YouTubers, because I think it showed the unprofessionalism and just idiocy of the Wall Street Journal and some of the faults of old media.
Sure.
I actually think it very clearly showcased how some of the strengths of new media outweigh some of the weaknesses of old media in a great extent.
Well, I'll go even this far. I think they did it deliberately, because here's the thing. We're connected to YouTube, and younger folks tend to be connected with YouTube, but people in their 50s and 40s, excuse me, may not be connected to it like the way all they see is PewDiePie's a Nazi. It's like, oh my God, the most popular guy on YouTube is a Nazi sympathizer? Really?
This fucking Hitler Youth looking ass white pride worldwide.
Yeah, exactly. Look at him.
Sweden.
Hey, look at him. Let me ask you something. He made a joke. I think it was around October, saying they wouldn't. They were being racist against him because he was white, and he walked it back and said it was a joke. Me and others, like other YouTubers like Sargon of Akkad, felt like, yeah, because he has blonde hair and blue eyes, and he looks like could be standing next to Colossal's crazy in a concentration camp 70 years ago. Do you think there is some desire by YouTube not to have the Scandinavian look as sort of the face of their platform? Do you think that is anything to that?
I think it has less to do with them not wanting the Scandinavian look. I don't think they care that much about what he looks like. I think they care more about how he presents himself. 'Cause I feel like he's being much more honest about who he is, what he does, and trying to make entertainment, say, for a more broad range of an
Sure.
audience. He doesn't care that much about not about censoring himself anymore. And I don't think YouTube wants that as their face. Because
Good
you
point.
got to think about the advertisers. YouTube really wants something they can show to kids. I
Yeah.
think that's across the board. I think kid content does best on YouTube. Kids
Sure.
are the best viewers, you know?
Absolutely.
I would much rather have a 12-year-old who can sit on the iPad fucking watching video after video, just liking, commenting, smashing that like button.
Yeah,
on
there you
Uber
go.
Content. Than some, 30-year-old guy who just sees 5 minutes of a video and, wow, that's pretty cool, and clicks on
clicks
and moves
off.
on with his life and never thinks about it again, right?
That's true. The young are engaged.
So young viewers are the best audience, and they're also the best audience to advertise to, which means that adult content, arguably a couple of the videos on my channel,
Yeah.
adult content definitely is not favored by YouTube the way I see it, right?
I
And I'm
gotcha.
not saying they don't like having adult content on their platform, because I don't think I'm big enough for my content being adult or a kid to really make a difference on how YouTube sees me. But I think PewDiePie being the biggest content creator, I think it makes a huge difference for them whether or not he makes himself extremely approachable or extremely, what do you call that? Just extremely open to being a kid's entertainer. I
Yeah.
think PewDiePie or Felix genuinely wants to just create his best content and just try to be a really good entertainer, both for kids and adults. I enjoy his content, right? But I don't think that's necessarily what YouTube are looking for. So to answer your question, to be honest, I don't think they give a shit if he looks like a Hitler Youth.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, I mean, anyone from Sweden do.
well, you
Give it
don't.
ten-
You're
give it 10
Danish.
years. Give it 10 years. Swedistan will be a different place.
Were you the only?
But-
Were you the only brunette in your class in Denmark? I got married in Denmark. Everybody's very
Dude, this
fair
is why
and
I could.
beautiful.
This is why I can be openly make really offensive jokes on YouTube. Is because I'm half African, right?
Oh,
my
really?
my last name is Ben Lolo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's true.
Get the fuck
I
out
am-
of here. Okay.
I'm literally half Negro.
You don't say that anymore. That's what that's is that what they say in Denmark? They say Negro.
No, they don't say that in Denmark.
They say
But
something worse.
I'm half black, so I get to say it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, there you go. We learn something new every day. All right. My last thing I wanted to is like, look, I put you over as a party guy. You're definitely a party guy.
Yeah, I used to be much more of a party guy, but sure.
You're crazy. The foursome signing boobies. I mean, you're my fucking hero. I heard it said once that the youth is wasted on the young. You certainly have used all the young up as much as you can. you used all the young up.
You have a way with words, my man.
I stole them
I
from
don't even
somebody
know if
else.
that was on purpose, but boom!
They say that you took all of it. You didn't waste a cent
I
a
took all
minute.
the young.
Yeah. You've had to roll it back. You've mentioned some
I have to
substance
run it
abuse.
back real quick. It's true.
Is that permanent, or we just I mean?
Well, the thing is, you know what they say. If you wanna bring it to a ball, you first have to simmer down,
Gotcha.
and you got to slow down and roll it back, run it back real quick, and get ready to rumble. All the
Okay.
kids say that. They say scholars have said that for years. But the thing is, touching on that, I've been entirely sober for 5 months, almost 5
Congratulations.
months.
Congratulations,
and I
bro.
can't recommend it at all. This shit can't be healthy.
You're fucking honest as hell.
I don't smoke weed. I don't drink nothing. Caffeine is the hardest drug I do,
Oh,
and I
wow.
bang that shit straight to the dome.
Bang.
No, but the reason I decided to sober up was just because I realized that I've had 2 extremely hectic years of my life. If I don't slow the fuck down, I'm just basically not gonna be all right. I've always had one philosophy when it came to any harder controlled substance, but I'm pretty much gonna apply it to most of life in general. That's asking myself 3 questions. Am I hurting myself? Am I hurting anybody else? And do I enjoy it? And if the answers are no, no, yes, then I think it's okay.
I gotcha.
And in the beginning, like you talked about, like me partying a lot. In the beginning, it was always no, no, yes. You know, like if I consumed a drug or anything, I wasn't hurting anybody else. I wasn't hurting myself, and I enjoyed it. But as time went on, it eventually got to the point where I felt like I was kind of hurting myself. And even to the point where I might not even feel like I was enjoying it. And that's why I decided to drop it. I felt like I had to get my act together, really shape the fuck up, and touch base and really connect with my ideology, who I am, what I want in life. For example, I love being an entertainer. I love doing YouTube. I love getting the opportunity to make things that are seen by hundreds of thousands of people that actually enjoy the things I make. I feel like that's a truly empathetic connection that I make with a bunch of human beings on a weekly basis that basically most people don't ever get the fucking chance to touch. Like for a period of time, I was sad about not being as big as I used to be. But when I really fucking think about it, 999,999 out of a million artists in the world don't even get to show
Not
their
even
art
close.
to 1,000 people when they
No, you're
make it, right? Whenever I make a video, be it dumb or good or something I've spent 100 hours on or something I've spent 20 hours on, there are literally hundreds of thousands of people ready to watch it, engage with it, and not just, watch it randomly, move on with their life. A lot of them genuinely, sit down and try to engage with what I've made.
Yeah.
And I think that is a fucking honor as a creator,
Absolutely.
as a creative in general, to be able to make something and have people genuinely be interested in it.
And sitting
So
around-
in that regard, I feel like I'm extremely blessed in life.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that I decided to slow the fuck down in life and, really touch base with myself. But to answer your question,
Sure.
I decided to go straight edge for half a year
Okay.
because I wanted to both prove to myself and the world, for that matter, that I can just be completely sober. I don't have a problem with that, If you can't fucking go half a year without anything, then you're addicted to that thing. I couldn't go half a year without internet. That's how I know I'm fucking addicted to the internet,
Yeah, I
right?
gotcha.
But I kind of have to be because it's my job.
Yeah, I got you.
But I decided, go straight edge for half a year. And if I can do that, I will start drinking socially again because alcohol was never really a problem drug for me. I don't know. I think I might be a little bit weird in that regard, but I was never like huge on alcohol. Even though people always draw me with a bottle of Jack Daniels in my hand.
Yeah.
I was never actually a huge drinker except for when I went to conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
So in April I will have been sober for half a year, completely sober for half a year, and I think I'm from our girlfriend's birthday. I gave her a trip to Portugal with me.
Wow.
So we're gonna go to Portugal for a week, and that's when I'll start drinking a bit socially again. Unless I fuck up and relapse,
Gotcha.
and bang some heroin up my ass in the next 2 weeks.
Look, welcome back. I really hope the best for you. And you probably don't have a problem. You just probably were out of control. If you do have a
Absolutely.
problem, it will show up again. It's going to show. It's going to show its face. I got questions from, and they're usually whack the fuck out because they're my fans. I got questions from YouTube. From my Twitter feed. Jay Show says,
do questions. Sweet.
yeah, these are fucking whack the fuck out. But I'm gonna ask. These are whacked out. But I'm going. Where the hell? What would you ask to UberDanger today? All right. Jay Show said he wants to know if you still sleep with your mom and dad in the same bed.
Never my mom or my dad separately, but if I can get both of them in the bed, let's rock.
Oh Jesus! All right. You could have told me to fuck off. Ask him when his life dropped to the point where he had to do shows with a washed-up drunk soldier.
What's washed up drunk soldier?
The washed-up drunk
that's
soldier.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That would be me.
well, I don't feel like I have to. I just feel like we're having a good time. I don't feel like I need to.
That's one of my biggest fans and donators, by the way, that wrote me that. CJ, a bit old now, but what are your take on the faceless H2O drama?
Oh, I wasn't like huge into that. I think so. For one, I'm actually for griefing servers, no matter how much effort is put into it. That's my one thing.
Okay.
On the other hand, I mean, iDubbbz could fucking chop the arm off an 8-year-old, and I'd probably support him too because I think he's really funny.
Oh, he's the best.
So there's two sides to this thing, and because iDubbbz's name is on one side, I'm gonna go with that one.
Okay. Are you pregnant? This is from a little Dutch kid gaming for bros.
Yeah, I'm pregnant. It's 7 months, so in 2 months I'm gonna give birth to my 6-pack.
Benny in Iceland says, ass or titties?
That's okay. So that's an interesting question.
Yeah,
Thing
so-
is, right? People you who ask that question usually imagine either big tits or big butt, right?
Yeah.
Thing is, I'm a bit different in that. I like small tits with a big ass, right?
Oh, really?
But the tits don't matter. As
You
much.
are half African.
That's right. The thing is, the tits don't matter half as much to me as the ass.
Really?
Because
I'm a booby
I
guy.
gotta have that fat ass,
Yeah.
I gotta fucking. Ooh, there's gotta be
ass.
some thick mass, I need that.
I got you.
Tits, I could take them small, I could take them big. I think a general thing is like I don't want them so small that it looks like a dude's chest. She can't have smaller tits than me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want tits so big that, you know, like my girl's gonna have back problems.
Yeah,
I
I've had
generally
that.
prefer
I've
tits
had to
on
go
the
through
smaller
that.
side. I think smaller tits are hotter.
Yeah.
That turns me on more. You know, some of that. No, I'm not even gonna say that.
It's
I've
my-
said enough. I've said enough.
You've said enough already.
Pedophile shit. This fucking podcast. So let's just move on to the next question.
Okay. Uber or taxi? What do you like better?
Fuck off.
It's funny because I made this fucking video. I got two questions from two different guys. I made this video. I told kids to drop out of school and just start a Twitch account and everything will sort of work out for them. Don't go to school. It was obviously a joke. So they asked, and you kind of answered it before already. Did you drop out of high school?
I mean, yeah, I dropped out of high school. Not just as in like went to high school and dropped out. I dropped out on the last 3 years of high school, which is actually a separate school system.
It's a little different over there. It's not the same as like America. It's
I
American.
still have like my primary school education, which is the first 10 years.
Gotcha.
And the thing is, your gymnasium the last 3 years, you can't take that twice. And I was
Gotcha.
not ready to study at all in that period of my life.
Gotcha.
If I'd done it and gotten shitty grades, those are my fucking grades for life. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
gotcha.
education
No, it was
in my country. I have every opportunity in the world, and I fucking hate this shit. So yeah, I dropped out.
It's just like
I'm a high school dropout. I can definitely recommend it.
Okay.
Higher learning is for pussies.
Well, you know, here's the thing. I mean, everybody's different in different situation. Your situation was different than a lot of other people. Like you said before, you're blessed. But in the States, you drop out of school, you're fucked.
Oh no, yeah, you got. But okay, so
Yeah.
you guys have to fucking pay to go to college. I mean, you might as well try to make a Facebook. I'm serious. You guys
Yeah,
are
why
gonna
not?
fucking end up in more tech step than me.
Well, I just want to. It's just a total coincidence that you did drop out, and I made this thing. Drama alert picked the thing up like I was fucking serious. I just want to make it abundantly fucking clear that it wasn't serious, and UberDanger's situation is probably a lot different than yours. He's a talented
The thing you have to
YouTuber.
remember is that I'm alpha as fuck and I can handle life.
You are alpha as fuck, dude. I'm surprised you didn't join. If you would have been the fucking most badass infantry soldier if they're.
You have to understand that I live in Denmark, right?
Yeah, that's
we
right.
don't have army like you have army.
I know.
And also,
you would have
I'm
been
not
there
interested
though.
in fighting for my. I'd rather fight for your country than my country.
Oh God,
okay?
it's terrible. You seem like an American to me. You have a very American attitude. In your-
Yeah, I think my accent's a little bit American too. I guess.
yeah. When you learn to speak English, obviously you took the American side.
Well, actually, my original accent wasn't really all that American, but I
British.
used to date a girl from Atlanta, Georgia. So I spent a fair amount of time, at least in my 2015 rich boy year,
Yeehaw!
traveling America a lot, also traveling in the South a lot. I
Gotcha.
really like a lot of southern states.
Oh, really?
I like the culture. I really like American culture.
You
I
should
think
you
it's
should
nice.
have been there. You would have done fine with that attitude. I'll tell you that would have been the place for you.
To be honest, the thing is, I think America's the best place in the world to live if you're fucking rich and white as hell. And so one day when I become rich and white as hell, I will move to America and live the good life.
Move to Texas.
But until then, until I'm rich as fuck and white as fuck, I will stay out. I will say, not yet. We'll wait. America, not yet for me.
Is your girlfriend American? I heard she was.
Not, she's Danish, much
She's
like
Danish.
myself.
Oh,
Because my
okay.
ex-girlfriend knows American.
You guys should go. If you're gonna move to the States, move to Texas. My brother lives in Texas, and you get to keep the money you earn. It's amazing. And
So you guys have a 0% tax rate in Texas?
I don't know what they have down. I'm from New Jersey, so I'm more.
The thing is, like, I've been looking at tax rates, and I was like, oh, in Dubai they have a 0% tax rate, but also they rape women.
yeah. That's not
And
the
also,
place.
I think I'd get murdered for my videos.
I say Texas. Texans are assholes, but it's a good place to live either way. Let's see. Let's see. So you said and this is my final question. And I'm going to extend this a little. I'm going to try to take a few calls if you don't want it.
no
if
worries.
you don't mind. What are your thoughts on the commentary community? It's a little bit of crisis right now.
I think the commentary community, and this is purely from the heart, I think it was shit from the beginning,
Ooh.
right?
Okay.
I think a lot of the content in the commentary community is just some people making comments on other people, and those people making comments, and the people making comments about other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'm invested enough in internet culture to actually mostly care about it, right?
Gotcha.
I had a bit of fun with it. I had a bit of fun when all the drama was at its peak for the commentary community.
Gotcha.
Because at the time, I guess I knew like Leafy and Keemstar and those people. So it's kind of like being part of a reality show where you get to talk to the different people that are in the reality show.
You're Right.
That was kind of fun for me because then I could see, like, every couple days there'd be a new drama thing with a new guy and a new thing who did another thing, and you could just talk to the people. And I thought that was kind of fun. But in general, I think the commentary community is just people with an interesting voice or funny stories telling stuff to kids mostly.
Bionic Pig recently said, and I couldn't agree with him more. He said, "Look, we make videos for teenagers. We have to stop taking ourselves so seriously." And I think that's one of the big problems. The problem is the teenagers are also some of the bigger commentators, and the real hole is the commentators can't take criticism. That will not stand, and it will fall apart when these kids figure that out. They're gonna. I mean, the big guys like Colossal's crazy. The guys that are really, really good, they'll still be around. But the smaller guys will go by the wayside because these kids are gonna watch it and they say, "You're fake, bro. You're fake."
That's every community though. Like the League of Legends community has a very similar thing right now, where there are no smaller channels growing in the League community.
Wow.
Because it's kind of like you saw the same thing in the Call of Duty community. Back when Modern Warfare 2 came out, even COD 4, there was a huge, unfilled, vast expanse of people wanting to watch this game.
Gotcha.
And there were very few content creators, a very unsaturated market of content creators. Then, a couple content creators, Machinima Respawn, fucking Hutch, C-Nanners, all those guys, they got fucking huge making Call of Duty videos.
Gotcha.
And because those guys got huge and people saw them get huge, they got into making Call of Duty videos. And for a couple of years, there was that fucking ride where people were just riding the traffic, getting big, FaZe Clan, all that shit, right? But then you had an oversaturated market and a bunch of smaller content creators that were just left completely in the dirt. Like, try to make a Call of Duty channel now and try to grow it big, right? It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The thing is, that same thing happened to the League of Legends community. I was lucky enough to start making. I was at the right place at the right time. If people say there's no luck involved in YouTube, the fucking lying,
there's tons. I got lucky.
I was at the right place at the right time. It wasn't fucking meticulously planned by me. I just happened to make League of Legends videos before League of Legends got absolutely fucking huge.
Yeah.
I started making videos in like pre-season 2. That's when I started playing the game. And there were people a bit earlier than me as well, but I think that group of people that got in around pre-season 2, season 2-ish, a lot of their videos started blowing up over the next 2 years, where League just absolutely exploded. I think, like season 2, season 3 of the League of Legends LCS World Championship were some of the most entertaining professional League of Legends that's ever been made. I think season 3 is probably my favorite League of Legends.
I got you.
Season 3 or season 2. I'm not even fucking sure. It's like, I think that was really, really good entertainment. And as someone that's advocated against LCS and professional League of Legends for a long time,
really,
but it's actually a lot for me to come out and say that. But I think that's like really, really good entertainment.
You advocated against. Hold on a second. You advocated against the competitive. You are like, you're openly against competitive League of Legends.
Not against competitive in general, but against the way that the company Riot Games manage their resources and spend a ton of money on the LCS compared to a bunch of other stuff they could have done with their game.
So a
large part of it, actually, you can't give Riot too much shit. A large part of it had to do with the Chinese company Tencent buying Riot Games and managing League of Legends because they wanted to earn a lot of money. There's a lot of stuff you saw come in over the last couple of years. Chroma packs where you can pay to recolor your champions.
Yeah.
You have those like keys and chests, very like monetized system. You can't blame them. It's fucking money.
Yeah, it's a free game too.
Riot could have just not sold it if they didn't want to.
But
I've essentially openly talked how I think that the LCS has been a negative impact on the average end consumer of the League of Legends game over the last couple of years. But still, I will say that season 2 and season 3, I wasn't there for season 1 of the League of Legends LCS, was extremely good in my opinion. And I think actually that whole explosion with all those personalities and those people really fucking holding it together and making an awesome show, that early League community made the game fucking insane. Made it one of the biggest, for a long time, the biggest esport in the world. And I was just lucky that I was a content creator making entertainment about this game as it blew up. But going back, rounding it back to what I was saying is that, like, I think you're seeing the same thing with the commentator community. A lot of people started because they saw this is the biggest content on YouTube right now. This is the fastest growing. This is what's blowing up the most. This is what's happening right now, right? And for a long time it was, you saw channels get fucking insane traffic. Leafy, Keemstar, Grade A, Under A. When they were at their peak, like it was insane how much money they were. Oh, no, sorry, not just money, but how much traffic and how much they were growing from commentating. Right? I've never seen commentating be that popular on YouTube, maybe with the exception of Call of Duty commentaries at their peak. Right? And I think a lot of smaller channels saw that, maybe even a lot of younger people saw that, and they were like, we can ride off this too. Some of them got in early, some of them rid that wave, some of them are decently big now, but some of them are lying at a couple thousand subscribers now. And now that that community isn't blowing up anymore, now that the content is oversaturated and that the viewers aren't hugely interested and hugely hungry for more content, it's extremely hard to make it as a small content creator. And I think this can be expected with any content form or genre on YouTube.
It's eventually going to come to the pop. It's just like, you said you're getting 18 million views in a month, and then it dropped down to a more respectable. Respectable is not the right word. Down to 2 million.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it's just ebbs and flows. I think it's the way it goes. Do you want to take some quick calls from? It's got to be really quick because I got to end this. Apparently, Keemstar goofed on my video. That's funny. A message to kids who like my show. That's the tweet I made. All right. Here's we're gonna put in Dong Slinger. Oh, you better be ready. He's not ready, then he's going. That's the way it is. Toast. You're on the air with UberDanger.
Hey Tommy.
What's up? What do you got? A question for Uber?
Yeah, I do. I can kind of relate with Uber's story because my family's got a history of debts with the government, and it really hit hard to home. And and I prefer his podcast over freaking Baited because I don't know, I just find it more entertaining.
Who's
yeah, but it won't be as great as Catch 33. I'll tell you.
Wait. Are you talking about Uber's podcast or mine?
Yeah, of course.
Uber. I was not aware that you had wait a minute. You mentioned about me being on a podcast a couple months ago.
I have the biggest League of Legends podcast in the world.
Oh, it's a League of Legends podcast. Oh,
well, I call it a League of Legends podcast just because the joke is that we have 2 episodes of the podcast out, and based on the views the first 2 episodes got, we are technically the biggest League of Legends podcast in the world, which is why we call it that. But it's basically just me and 3 of my friends trying to get together and just have a good time talking for an hour and a half, and me cutting it down to just the best parts.
I really want. I'd love to join. You did ask me to be a part of that, but I didn't know it was League of Legends based. I'll read up. I'd love to come on that podcast. I'd love to see what's going on.
We thought about, so I think I'm not redoing the format a little bit. The first episode we did was basically the roast of other League of Legends YouTubers and content creators.
Gotcha.
The second episode we did was just us talking about like topical shit. I think the third episode we're gonna go a little bit back to what we started off doing. We're gonna get like a big personality from the League community. I've talked to Night Blue if he wanted to come on there. And basically do like a live roast of him, talk to him a little bit, halfway interview him, halfway roast him, and just have him on there for the general, goofs and gaffes that we're trying to go for in the podcast. So I don't know. I really like podcasting. I've only done 2 episodes, but I think it's an incredible medium. I love it.
Let me know.
Toast, I'm glad you enjoy it, man. I really like that people enjoy our podcast.
There you go, Toast.
I mean, yeah, I did watch your channel a while back, and, unfortunately I did stop watching for a while, but then, I came back.
You got to do what you got to do. When the Hitler memes get too cancerous, you got to fucking dip out.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Toast. I'm going to try to get people on there. Dated Rhyme, you're on the air.
Thank you very much. I have a question for Uber, pretty much. I was listening in. You sound like a pretty good lad. Pretty quality lad, pretty lit. Pancakes, favorite flavor?
Oh, shut up, you prick.
No, this is a fine question.
Pancakes.
My favorite flavor of pancakes is go fuck yourself.
There you go. Yeah, I already got rid of him. He's a consummate prick. Persian 701. You're on the air. Going once, going twice. These guys are jerking me around. Well, I'll go. I want to go to bed.
High production value show, Tommy.
Well, what do you want? It's fucking a big goof. Jesus. People say, your show's stupid. Yeah, nobody knows that more than me.
Wait, I'm here.
What do you want? Dong Slinger, you're on the air with Uber.
I actually had I'm sorry, before fucking both things were playing, and I thought that
you better be having a question for Uber. That's all I want to know.
I got one question. Would you prefer to save an African child or own a lightsaber?
Oh, shut up.
Or what? Or what?
I don't know. I got rid of him for a lightsaber. No, come on.
Oh, a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Do I get to keep the lightsaber?
You get to keep that lightsaber.
Do I also get to keep the African child?
No, I think it's one or the other.
No, what I'm saying is that if I save the African child, do I get to keep it?
You have to keep the African child, but I don't think you lose out on the lightsaber.
I think if you get an African child, arm him with a regular sword, it's way more effective than a lightsaber. I'll take the African child any day.
All right, bro. I'm gonna freaking end it right there. Over so much. Hang on after we close out because I want to say something to you offline. Thanks everybody for being a part of the stream. Uber, you were really funny, really great, good time.
Thanks,
You covered it all, bro. You covered it absolutely all.
Yeah.
They're posting pictures. I'm pissed off at the fuckheads because those are my. Everybody's like, "Hey, you gonna name your fans? You gonna name your fans?" I call them fuckheads. And they put a picture of you, and it looks like I'm bored, but I'm looking at the fucking chat. I have to stare at it. Oh, you got to see this picture. I got to retweet it. It's too funny.
The picture they're sending is actually you being bored at them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, fuckheads. You only gave me 153 likes, and there's 300 people in here. You jerk. All right, thank you very much, UberDanger. Thank you very much, fuckheads, as always. And I will see you around tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. What's that?
Cut this off and just go with the pedo style.
Go with the pedo style. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
This is the almighty infinite, independent excellence. Devil fighting, rebel titan, weed smoking alchemist. Fake identities, okay, you cool with Jason Bourne. Running with these Wolverines, okay, you bout to catch a storm. I ain't never been a liar, got tired of niggas playing me. Head in my legs like she bout to catch a pedigree. Chi-town, the king's home, slapping fives, black stones. 6 mile to danger zones, bullets look like waffle cones. Folk affiliated, the evolution of Machiavelli. Don't make me lead them eagles to you like I'm Chip Kelly. They feel my struggle, I express it through my hip hop. I'm about to make it hard to breathe, here's a headline.